Financially, maybe it's not always that comfortable. It's just a huge learning process.
For someone who has been into the corporate world for almost like 2 decades now,
Yeah.
to kind of seeing the whole startup ecosystem, how does that feel for you?
Oh my gosh.
The one who are obsessed are the ones who will be able to see it. You know the direction, this is how it has to be, but with time you might have reached so far. What's next, only you can see it,
Yeah,
not someone else.
exactly. The beach culture is one of the best in the world. And I would love to see kids enjoying nature in just like cool performance design led swimwear.
Hi Jen, it's amazing to have you on the show today.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. For someone like me who has been following your journey on Instagram for the past 2 weeks, I can say Jen is someone who likes to travel, loves the
Yes.
beaches a lot, and is super
Yes.
obsessed about her brand. Could you tell the audience a bit about yourself? Who is Jen? Where she comes from? And what is her brand all about?
Sure. Well, again, thank you for having me. It's my first podcast ever, so I'm very excited to have it with you sitting here. So my name is Jen, and I am a 44-year-old mother of two. Uh, Currently a lawyer. I'm a projects lawyer and have been in the industry for quite some time now. I'm based in Abu Dhabi, and I've lived here for the best part of 13 years. I'm originally from Scotland, so the climate, as you'll know, is a bit different. And as a lawyer, I've had the opportunity to travel with work, and I've lived in Australia for 30 years, working in over in Perth, which is again a beautiful beach destination. And yeah, so as you say, I'm quite obsessed with travel, beaches, the outdoors, always grown up near the ocean and have had this pull to develop a kids' beachwear brand ever since moving to Abu Dhabi, having children myself. And all I could see was a big gap in the market here for kids' swimwear. There is no local brand that reflects the vibrancy of the UAE. And I just couldn't stop seeing that gap. And I couldn't find anything for my own kids. So I just thought, why not try and fill that gap and do it myself?
Awesome. And now, from the idea that you had that you wanted to fill this gap to
Mhm.
making sure that this is something that you want to pursue as business, how long did it take? And what were some of the things that made you believe that this could be a business?
So I guess since I have my kids, so I've got a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. So this little seed has been growing for years, ever since I couldn't find what I was looking for as my own ideal customer in the market. I think with the UAE has grown so much since I've lived here. It's an incredible place to live. But with the seasons, typically with fashion, that's what you would normally find yourself looking at in the shops. It's very much a European kind of buying season, whereas it's effectively an endless summer in UAE. So that's the first problem that I thought needed to be solved here, was that I can't just rock up to a shop in January and buy a pair of swim shorts or a rash vest for my children. I have to import it. I have to look to Europe. And even then, in January, trying to find swimwear for kids in that season, it's just never available. So then you're looking to Australia, and it just blows my mind that there's nothing here in the UAE with such an amazing beach destination. We've got a really awesome beach culture in the UAE. And I think obviously people are more aware of that now than when I first arrived. But there's still that gap in the market. There's still not that local brand where I can just, not waste 4 hours scrolling websites in Australia that yeah, we should have something here. So this little idea has just been niggling away at me for years. Um, as I work as a full-time lawyer, I don't have that much time, but I've just never been able to stop thinking about it. So yeah, I probably about 3 years ago decided to do an online course at the Condé Nast Fashion College, and it was all about entrepreneurship and trying to understand the basics of where to begin with this idea. I know nothing about fashion. I know what I like. I understand what looks good together, but I don't understand. I don't have the knowledge of where do you start with a business? Where do you source manufacturers, margins, all of this information that is just this minefield and also very closed as well. I found it very difficult to try to get into this gatekeeping of understanding where to start, who to speak to. So I'd say over the past 3 years, it has just became an obsession. I just couldn't stop seeing the gap. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I did my course, and then I just started to investigate and do a bit more research on where I could have this swimwear made. Is there, are there other people like me in the UAE that want this? Is there demand in the market? So I did market research, etc. And I've just been working on it in between work, being a mom, traveling, the usual stuff as an old 40 plus woman.
Lovely story. I mean, like for something that is design led, okay, how do you kind
Mm,
of arrive at a point where you know it has a good taste and not just your taste?
yeah, that's a good question. Um, I think I've always had a bit of an eye for design. Like I love interiors, I love fashion. I can't really explain it, but I can just tell when something looks right or something doesn't look right. And of course, it's got to be your taste at the beginning, and then you test the market. Um, I I think that's one of the benefits of starting, a social media account, trying to build a community before you launch a product to get feedback. Um, and I think it's not just the product as well, it's your branding is so important. And now there's this strange overlap where my branding colors are actually um, becoming physical in the products that I'm making as well. And I think it just is quite cohesive. It's fun, it's bright. I'm just wanted to make something that I can't find myself in the market because typically you're looking at, you know, cartoon prints on a swimwear or quite dull colors, babyish prints. And I just don't think that reflects the UAE, right? It's a really cool, vibrant mix of different nationalities, the beautiful colors and nature in the UAE as well. I just wanted to try and bring that to a swim product. So I guess, yeah, it's my taste to begin with, and then hopefully I'll get some good feedback and it will resonate with others.
Lovely. I mean, I love the energy that you're sharing on the page. Like, it's kind of a cult that makes you want to be a part of it, which is rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
thank
is,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I believe in marketing more than anything else, that is the core foundation, right? How do you make someone feel your brand? And I think you did a good job there, despite you are the one who has been juggling and doing it. Pretty good job there. Yeah.
Well, thank you. But I think you're right. People buy, they invest in, it's an emotional thing, right? People want to feel something. And I think that's another layer of, I can't really name many uh, swim brands that have that personality. I would rather buy from someone that makes me feel something instead of just a generic brand.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, how do you stay consistent sticking to this despite knowing that there's no instant reward for it? I mean, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, I think, maybe delusion? Delusion and obsession. I think I have a lot of perseverance. I'm not very good at giving up. I just wanna keep pushing and just think, "Well, why wouldn't it work?" You've gotta back yourself. And maybe that comes with age now. What have you got to lose? Yeah, maybe some money to begin with at the beginning. I'm not investing in a huge production run for the first for the initial launch, but I just think life's too short. You've got to give it a shot, right? You've got to back yourself. And now I'm getting a bit more traction on social media. Um, it's really important to me that I have a community in Abu Dhabi. There's quite a big um Instagram influencer community in Dubai, but I don't think we have that same community in Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
And Abu Dhabi has doubled in population since I arrived here 13 years ago. So there are people out
Mm-hmm.
there. We just need to bring them together.
Makes a lot of sense. And this, how are these communities helping you as an entrepreneur? Is it more aligned towards how to do, what to do, or is it like you are looking forward? These could be my potential customers down the line when I build something. What is the direction that you are looking at?
Yeah, I think honestly it's a bit of both. I mean, what we were talking about the taste point earlier about, well, how do you know that people will actually your taste will resonate with others? So it's a very good testing ground to get feedback on if people like what they see, if there is that market need. So at the same time, you're looking for feedback because you don't have that access yet, right? You don't have the product to go out and test with all of these people. It's not on shop shelves, etc. So to be able to start to build a community and basically get that feedback loop digitally is just incredible. And it's not just local, it's got a broader reach as well. And then hopefully these people will become your customers and will become invested in the brand and want you to succeed. And you're working together. I'm filling a gap and trying to put the UAE's beaches on the world map. I mean, I know you've got Dubai, people know about it, but I would love people to think about, well, there's that UAE swim brand that's really cool. I want to be part of that. You're buying into something that's super exciting and it represents a lot of different cultures, which is super important to me as well.
Interesting. I mean, again, like when it comes to a kid's swimwear brand, right? The ICP, the ideal customers, are usually the parents, right?
Exactly.
And kids are the one who wear it. But have you also looked into the angle where if the kids are also loving it, or is it just the focus is on parents? How does that work? I'm just trying to dig in more.
So I've got two little dictators at home, my sons, who are very highly and strongly opinionated on what they like about swimwear and what they don't. So a very good example is in boys' swim shorts. You have this net lining, call it the horrible net hammock. And it's so uncomfortable. And for kids, they maybe they're not too fussy on design or how it looks, but how it feels is number one, right? So first of all, I start with my own kids of what are the problems, what can I try and improve, and then I've also reached out to other friends who have children, asking, conducting research with them, what matters, what do they like, and that's really number one is comfort and then durability as well. So yeah, I guess the marketing, the reach is to the adults because as you say, they're the purchaser, they're the customer, but the end customer is their child and comfort is number one. Durability, I think a very close second. And then I think the design, that you want to look good as well. But for
Course.
kids, it's about comfort. So I think, yeah, a mixture of both.
Lovely. And do you think like building quietly before launch has an advantage, or or does it make it harder?
Okay, so I think I started my Instagram account. I'm too embarrassed to say. I think it could be over like 2.5 years. So I've been out there of saying I'm building a brand, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then I had a huge disaster with a factory that I initially was looking to produce with in Sri Lanka. So that has set me back by possibly about a year. So I should have been launching in January this year. But the quality, and now I don't know, it's actually with lawyers at the moment, because they have all of my designs, they have all my fabrics, they literally have everything I need to start this business. So it's currently under dispute. And so I have been, ready to launch, coming up to launch, coming up to launch, and then this happens and it's just set me back by about a year. So that's really hard because you're showing your failure and people are probably going to lose, they might lose interest of thinking, is this person ever going to launch? I'm so sick of seeing her posting soon to launch. So that has been, maybe it's not a downside, I don't know, because you are showing your honesty, and the reality of what it takes, and the failures that do crop up, because nothing will ever be straightforward. So in a sense, is there a risk that I may lose interest because of the delays, or does that give people more of an interest and maybe more of a buy-in to see the kind of the underdog succeed? Um, so I think there's pros and cons to both. I know now that we live in very much a founder-led society where, people are documenting every step of their journey, and that really resonates with people now. I think we have shifted from that like celebrity influencer era to people wanting to know who the founder is, what their struggles are, who is building this brand. And it's interesting, right? It's like reality TV almost, but on your phone, and it's never ending. And
100%.
yeah, so I think there's pros and cons to both. Obviously, I find it quite challenging to just jump onto Instagram and do like an off the cuff, this is what I'm doing today. And also there's an element of, there's some privacy as well. I don't know where you want to, and I don't think I'm that interesting either. So I think I've got a bit of both. I know that people need to know who the founder is. I want to obviously walk through my learnings as well so other people can learn from my mistakes. Um, but yeah, I think it's a bit of both.
Understood. Now, when it comes to having a supplier, right? Let's say someone backs off or something goes wrong with them. How did you plan in your journey so far, that in terms of if there's a right now, with the current situation, everyone is helpless because yeah, everything is getting blocked. That's a different story. But when everything is right, how were you planning in terms of, okay, if this supplier doesn't fulfill what I need, what am I gonna do? If that thing was planned better, maybe the delay wouldn't be. How were you dealing that situation that time?
Yeah, so I've had quite a few issues. I'd probably be here all day if I listed them all. But again, I think it's kind of like the tuition fee. Failure is, it 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 helps you learn. And I don't think that you can progress without having these small failures along the way. I don't think you could ever just have an easy, straight road. And to be honest, the supplier issue I found very confronting to begin with because of the industry that I work in. We're trained uh, as lawyers to be incredibly efficient, responsive. The client is number one. Whereas when you're just this small fry startup brand trying to get insanely small MOQs, people are like, whatever, you're at the back of the list, and you're basically pleading with them to take you seriously and give you the benefit of the doubt. So I don't think there's much that I don't think you can really prepare yourself for that. I think that you have to manage it when you're in it, and you have to move on quickly as well. So when there's a failure, do not dwell on it. And I have been a sucker for that in the past. But now, my thinking is that you just have to move on. You just have to find the next direction. So you basically just reach the sign in the middle of the road and you can go one way or the other. Just don't stop. I think that's the main thing for me is that it's just like your GPS, right? You just have to change direction because there's a car accident or there's a blockage in the road. Um, financially, maybe it's not always that comfortable, like with the situation that I've got now. But it's just a huge learning process. And I think if you can be you've got to do your homework and try and find suppliers that you connect with and someone that's not going to, that's going to be fully transparent with you. And that relationship is so fundamentally important to get right at the beginning. And when you're coming in completely blind with that experience, then I think you've got to kind of have that buffer of it's not going to be a straight path. There are going to be bumps in the road. So just try and, you know, not, expect the unexpected in a sense. Just, I think you've got to just not be so hard on yourself and don't dwell on things.
Understood. For someone who has been into the corporate world for almost like 2 decades now,
Yeah.
to kind of seeing the whole startup ecosystem, how does that feel for you?
Oh my gosh. It just I guess the industry is so different, right? And then you're dealing with different cultures, which I think having been in the UAE for such a long time, I think that I built up that understanding and hopefully the psychology behind it and how to communicate with people. But I think I'm also very soft touch as well when it comes to suppliers and not wanting to annoy anyone or, I'm a bit of a people pleaser as well. So trying to take a step back on that and treat it very much as it is a business. But I don't know your experience of like working with people in China. They like to share a bit of their lives with you, these suppliers. They like to talk about what's going on and to build up a bit of a rapport. Whereas you're just like, I just want the answer. I need this done today. So just trying to appreciate how different people work and how differently they work. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to be less ragey, a bit more calm, see the bigger picture. It's gonna get done eventually. I'm just not very patient. That's the only thing.
Yeah. I mean, it gets better along with time, unless and until you stick through it. That is how you,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at this stage, every small thing might feel like a big thing for you in terms of making decisions, right? How do you kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
weigh them or validate them before you kind of take that next step?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. I think the biggest decision for me, which probably sounds very minor at this moment, is finalizing the designs because I'm so obsessed with details. I'll think I'm almost there and then I'll have another bright idea and want to change something. But I think the fact that it's gone on for so long, I just have to put a pin in it. I don't think it's going to be perfect at
Mm-hmm.
last. I don't anything is going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you've just got to push ahead and go with it and trust your instincts, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lovely. I mean, I've been there, seen it, but then the whole feeling when it comes to going live and then seeing it and waiting how the crowd responds. Maybe it's the number of visitors that you're having on the website, or it could be the amount of add to carts that happen, and after that they went to the checkout but that didn't happen, or maybe the orders that you have received. It's so much and it's so exciting at the same time. I'm so happy, like I'm excited as well for your launch because yeah, I've been watching the stories and all of that. It's really good, like the whole journey that goes behind building a brand that is being shown, and I could kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It just
If
becomes
you
an obsession, doesn't it?
true, of course, that is right. Like only the one who are obsessed are the ones who will be able to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know the direction. This is how it has to be, but with time, you might have reached so far. What's next? Only you can see it.
Yeah,
not someone else.
exactly.
And for
That's the
that, you
problem.
need to be.
Mhm. Like, how do you as well, it's a delegation thing too, of you have this image and this, picture in your mind, and sometimes you can't clearly convey what you want or that feeling. I think that's quite challenging for founders as well, of being able to take what's inside their head and produce that to the level that they, want to achieve, like the level they see it. I think that's quite challenging as well. But I think you just have to move forward, right? You can't go back. You just got to make a decision.
Of course, yeah. Right now, before the world sees it, like everything goes live, what do you truly want from your heart? Uh, the Me plus Mer should be known for.
I would love it to be like a go-to brand. You've got the giving movement. I think I'm sure there's so many brands in the
Why is
UK.
everyone obsessed about the giving movement?
I don't know. I think it's like the only I think it's just the only brand that, that really springs to mind. They can create a community, right? And I think obviously with them
Have you owned
their
giving movement?
no, I've never owned it. Have you?
It's good. Yes.
I mean,
I I got
I've
gifted
felt
once.
it.
I got gifted once. I thought it
Oh,
wouldn't be as good as I thought, but it turned out really well. And
yeah.
then I went on to purchase more. And now
And it's the
I and
philanthropic element as well of the donation, the charity aspect, which is really unique. Oh, it's Humantra. Now that is an excellent UAE brand. The electrolytes.
I know, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that is these are cool, fun brands that I would love to have something that is a go-to UAE brand that represents what an awesome place this is. And in the beach culture is one of the best in the world. And I would love to see kids enjoying nature in just like cool performance design led swimwear. I mean, to me, I think of it as almost like a Lululemon for kids,
Mm-hmm.
crossed
Mm-hmm.
with like some kind of Ibiza boutique hotel resort, brand, something just really cool and fun. And that is about the UAE as well and nature. And everyone's on a screen, right? You can't escape it. I think the beach is the one place where it
Oh,
is like completely back to nature. Everyone's happy on the beach and you're together as a family and being outdoors. It's just so good for the soul.
100%. Yeah. For someone who would want to start their own brand, what would be one piece of advice if they want to start from the UAE?
From the UAE. I mean, the UAE is such a great platform, right, for young entrepreneurs. The accessibility to a business license, it's very easy. And you're in the middle of the world. You're right bang in the middle, so you've got easier access to suppliers as well. And I think it's just a very supportive environment. I think for starting your own brand, be a bit more decisive. I think you've just got to start. You've got to start somewhere. It's never going to be perfect. There's going to be failures along the way. But if you have an idea that you literally can't stop thinking about, I think that is the world trying to tell you to do it. And life's too short, right? You've got to give it a shot. And maybe your first one won't work out. But if you have that obsession, like an itch that has to be scratched, then I think you just have to go for it. That would be my advice. I mean, I've not even launched yet, but I'm really positive and upbeat. Like, I think you've got to give it a go.
Of course,
And it's fun, it's exciting, it's hard work, but it's awesome. It's an addiction, an obsession.
100%. Yeah. Lovely talking. I think that's pretty much I had to ask you today on this podcast.
Really.
Yeah. Thank you for taking out your time on a Friday afternoon, joining us, talking and sharing this story.
It's been so nice. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for the interest in Me Mer, and hopefully you will see it out on a UAE beach sometime soon.